listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Bar Rescue After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Bar Rescue After Show.
Bring it home to me, whether I am near you or across the sea.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Biggest for doing. We're here doing Season 3, Episode 16 of Bar Rescue. Characters Assassination. We'll obviously know why it's called that. But before we get into everything, the biggest question on everybody's mind is, was the Pirates segment inspired by AFTERBUZZ TV?
Not even a minute and 10 seconds in. Pirates!
Hey, you know what? The show brought on the Pirates, so...
They did it. It wasn't even us this time. It wasn't even us.
It was great. I have a history with pirates. Flashback.
I want to be a pirate. Arr.
So you know what? John doesn't like characters. We understand this.
He has a huge problem with them, as we have seen in past episodes.
Was it warranted? I mean, it was certainly funny.
Yeah, it was. I think so, in a way. I mean, I truly loved it, so I'm going to say yes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So there you go. We knocked out the Pirates a minute and 10 seconds into the episode.
I know. Oh, God. It would have been better if they had One-Eyed Pete, though.
I know.
God, I miss him.
We're grown men.
You're grown men wearing costumes.
Yes. Anyway, let's talk about the episode at hand. It's in North Carolina. Steven, who's in the booth right now, he actually he can spit to it from his old house where he grew up, although he's never been, which is a shame.
Was it characters when you were there?
I don't know if I've been to where the restaurant is, but I've been around there and I know exactly where it is.
It was like a magnetic force field every time like he came anywhere close. Like he just couldn't get the characters because he was too young. It was a bar. But anyway, and I know, Dorinda, you've lined up a slew of guests for us tonight.
We have some winners tonight. Like, seriously, I'm not being facetious or sarcastic. Like, I'm excited about tonight's show.
Well, we have Russell, our expert, who loves his moonshine, by the way.
He does.
And then we have Helen.
Yeah, Helen and Charlie.
Okay.
Helen and Charlie calling in. And then I think we might have someone else calling in when Russell calls in.
Okay, look at that. We got a slew of guests. So, you know, let's kind of break it. Let's kind of do a quicker version of our rundown so we can spend more time with the guests and interviewing them. Overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts. Okay. This one, it hit home for me. But before we get a little deep, I just want to say one other comparison to Pirates and characters is at least Pirates costumes were better.
Okay.
I will give you that. That's what I wanted to say. Because I just kept saying, when I saw it before they even put the Pirates on, I was like, Pirates was much better costumage. But yes, that's what I was thinking.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not even going to argue.
Getting into tonight's episode, was a family-owned business. And the thing about family-owned businesses, they're hard because you take out more on your family than you would someone else that is not your blood. I've worked for a few family-owned businesses, and one I did, and it was just like this, except it was two brothers and a father. And so it even got worse than what we saw tonight. And it just broke my heart for Alex because she was just taking a beating. And I think most of her forgetfulness and everything, she was always so worried that her brother was going to do something or was going to say something to her. And my heart bled for her. Yeah. But I do like that they all worked it out. As far as this was one of the bars that we walked into where it seemed clean.
Yeah, tonight's episode, it was kind of, we've had a slew of really harsh episodes, meaning that, you know, they were tough emotionally, and this one was a little bit lighthearted. Yes. You know, so it was a nice change of pace. I think we needed that overall. And we have Helen and Scott, I'm being told, on the line.
Fantastic. Hi,
Hello.
guys. Hello?
Maybe not.
They're on the line. I don't know.
All right. Well, if you guys are on the line, just chime in and maybe we'll hear you. You know, what was I going to say? I was going to say, you know, and one of the reasons why it was more lighthearted was this is a family that wanted John's help. I mean, we've been in such debate over, you know, the foolishness of, do these people, are they playing it for cameras or whatever? And this family genuinely wanted this to succeed, and they wanted John's help. And so, you know, I liked that aspect of it, which...
Yeah, and that's what I loved about this episode. This one was more about the heart than about the bar itself, actually, which I really liked. And, you know, this episode to me, not like a few episodes this season, was very real. Was very real. And kind of reminded me of A Horse Walks Into a Bar from last season. A little bit. That's what it reminded me of. And so, and it was just a family pulling it together, which I loved. And they had some great things, but they were New Yorkers, which I love. I love New Yorkers, you know. What?
I love learning about the differences, you know. I mean, obviously, there's a difference between the North and the South. I get that. But even just the sweet versus the sour, you know, foods and things like that. That was really interesting for me to learn.
Yeah, because you go into, like, with barbecue. Barbecue's a huge thing. Yeah. So you're doing, like, your St. Louis ribs. They're a little bit sweeter. You got your North Carolina ribs. Those are vinegary. Like, even down to Texas, it's all about the rub. Yeah. So it's all different on different barbecue. And I got it when they did the recon and they had the ribs and they were like, oh, this is sweet. And they seemed very like, should not be here. This is North Carolina. We need to have North Carolina barbecue, which is right. I mean, if you're going to do barbecue in North Carolina, you need to do North Carolina barbecue. Yeah. And they also had like Coney Island hot dogs. I mean, I personally love that. I mean, but it's the South, so it's probably not going to fly. It would be more like a novelty. Yeah. You know, in that kind of realm. They didn't really have anything really Southern on the menu.
No, and, you know, speaking of the menu, what I loved, Chef Duffy, when he brought out the breakdown of, listen, you're basically selling 5 items out of whatever ended up being.
Yeah, like there was 31 items that weren't selling. I think that's what it was.
You know, and I think that's brilliant, you know, to really utilize that. I think this is the first kind of we've ever seen, you know, that being used. I'm sure they've used it in prior episodes, but this is, you know, in terms of featuring it on the actual show.
Yeah, and they also, and I liked how they talked about the pea mix, so it was explained to everyone. This is what I love about this show. You learn something new every episode, number one. At least I do, and I was in the business for so long. And the pea mix, how it's on the POS that they have, and you learn, that's basically how you can keep stock and inventory of everything. And then you have... there was I love that. I loved how they were saying we need to really fix this menu and bring it down, scale it, because it wasn't working. And then the fights between the brother and sister were just...
Yeah, so let's talk about that kind of the first night of abuse on Alex, you know, and she was kind of forgetful and things like that, and then you know, just caused the mess, and then. Yeah, she was yelled at. She was
yelled at, but yelled at in a way, like, if that was her boss, and that wasn't her brother, she would have walked out of there, I think, a lot sooner. But that was her brother, and as her brother, she's going to stay. And I know that she had been fired a couple times, but she came back because of everything. I just feel with all of that, I just really loved how it ended. Because
overall, or just that night?
Not that. Well, no. Well, let's talk about the sit down. The sit down I found when John sat down with him, because it's not even about the place. It's about the family. And he sat down with him, and you can even tell when he said switch seats. the brother still wasn't, Guy was still not having it. Because he's like, I've heard these excuses. I've heard this time and time again. So he had to be shown. There's some people that you have to show, and there's some people you can tell. Because they don't, you know, but some people need to be shown, almost like doubting Thomases in a way. Because they're like, I've seen it again and again and again. It hasn't changed. Yeah. So now I need to see you fix this. And then when I found out how much the stepfather and the mother had put into the business, they put in $300,000 of their own money. Then they had Guy had $50,000 of his own into
the bar.
To the bar. That's a lot of money to put into something.
You know, and you know what? Despite, you know, unlike most managers, he said, you know, it's always kind of been his dream and things like that. But at least he was willing to learn. And I mean, okay, the decor was horrible. The menu was horrible. It was so, you know, it was clean overall, except when you got to the food kitchen. So I think it's just, but at least, you know, I think, ironically enough, they showed more effort than most people.
Yes, they did.
They just got it all wrong.
Well, yeah, I think, but that's also the working with family. You know, you don't have to, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And in the family meeting, they said, well, she was hanging out with, Alex was hanging out with the wrong people. She, you know, and you could kind of tell certain things, and she would always get so upset. And my heart just bled for her because she's so sweet and so cute. But she didn't get it. Like, she didn't know the menu at all. And that's hard. I mean, it's your brother's restaurant. You should know the menu. She didn't know drinks, which I thought was, you know, she said a Tom Parker instead of a Tom Collins. But don't worry about that. You have no idea. My first day ever on the floor, I had no idea what Arnold Palmer was, and I thought it was an alcoholic drink. So I went to the bartender, and he's like, get out of my face. So it happens. It happens. But I just liked how it just all changed around when they were getting along.
Helen and Scott, are you on the line?
Hello.
Hello.
What tricks are you playing on us, Steven?
Yes.
I don't know. They're on the line. I can't.
Can they hear us?
We'll try to figure it out.
All right. The one day we get 800 guests on the show.
And we can't get them on the show.
Okay. Whose first day is it on the job? Who do I have to fire around here?
No.
All right. Anyway, so let's move on to the stress test because that was a lot of fun for me.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You talk about the stress test. I want to hear your opinion.
I love the end result of the stress test because John Taffert, that was the worst stress test I have ever seen. You know, I thought that was...
Worse than Pirates?
Well,
Worse than Pirates. Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hey.
Hey, is this Helen and Scott?
Helen and...
Yes, I'm with Scott tonight.
This is Charlie.
I know. It's been this this joke that we had. So, Helen, you can explain it if you like.
Well, yeah, that's kind of funny. I think we all put it together. You know, I asked John for a picture and asked him to sign it, and he said, sure. So he's, you know, kind of Facebooking back and forth, and then it comes back, you know, good luck, Glenn, and best to, you know, Guy, Helen, and Alex. So I was like, who's Glenn? That was the first name. Then another post was made. It was like to Scott. And then when I Facebooked him, I'm like, by the way, does Charlie need to be concerned about Scott and Glenn? And then John's like, no. He's my cigar smoking buddy. He sends us the picture. He says to Scott, Helen, Guy, and Alex. So I said to everybody, I'm like, okay, it's our inside joke. He wanted to go fly below the radar the whole week. So he's like, that was his stage name. So that's what we're telling people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how do you feel everything went? Like, how's the place doing right now? How's Moonrunners doing?
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
And how do you like the new menu rollout and everything? How do you feel like with the new cocktails? Like, how are the new cocktails doing?
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something we've learned, is that we really need to emphasize that it is moonshine cocktails, and maybe not some preconceived ideas of sitting on somebody's porch sipping out of a mason jar some White Lightning. These are very flavorful, very tasty. The ladies love them just as much as the guys do. So it's going over, I think, better than we ever could have expected.
Oh,
Being
that's great.
really, really well received.
Nice. And how is the food menu going over?
Oh, that's great. That's great. You know, as they mentioned on the episode, they kept about 70%, and the things they added to help connect with the Southern culture certainly have done that. And we're getting catfish deliveries every day. It's you know, difficult to keep in stock. It's selling so well, and the collards are terrific, and people are really, really enjoying it.
And my favorite is the mac and cheese. That's my go-to whenever I want comfort food.
That's excellent. You guys have catfish there?
Sure do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love
yeah.
With
catfish.
tequila lime tartar sauce.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I want to go there.
How's
Come on down.
How's the family dynamic now that you know the bar is more successful than it was when you guys started off? Is everyone much more happier, at ease, and guys managing it, you know, to a greater ability?
Guy's doing a fantastic job. John coming in and you know, being very blunt as he must be, I think really helped elevate Guy to a level that was there, and maybe he, Guy that is, didn't realize he had it in him. So he's doing a terrific job of managing the place. He's basically, you know, the grease on the gears that keep the whole machine moving. And the experience, you know, with John was fantastic, and Brian and Dave and Russell, those guys were just phenomenal. It really was a very special experience, besides all the other emotions that come in with it being overwhelming and exhausting and everything else.
What was the biggest takeaway for you guys that, you know, we may have seen or may not have seen on the show that you guys personally learned from John?
Helen, do you want to chime in on
I
that?
was thinking about that. I would say communication.
Communication? As a family or just in general?
In both. Oh, especially the family, but in both. Giving praise where it definitely, you know, is warranted. It's important to boost the people up and make them feel good, and they seem to respond really well to that. Kind of just working together. I mean, I don't, you know, you saw the episode. They stuck me in the kitchen, the expo, which is a nightmare. I was terrified.
Oh, and it can be scary over there. I have done
so
that.
My son
it's
makes
scary.
it look effortlessly, and I personally commend him and respect that position so much more. And I don't want to do it.
So how is the relationship now between Alex and Guy? Because, I mean, seemed very tumultuous as we were watching it.
Well, it's much improved, but let's remember that they are still siblings.
Yes.
So anyone who you know, has had siblings in their life understands that those are the people that you know you can be your most real with. So it is tremendously improved. That was another amazing aspect of what John did, coming in and drilling down to that issue as quickly as he did and addressing it. What folks may not realize is that scene that they saw of us sitting at the table with John was moments after he walked through the door, introduced himself, and we walked to that table, and that was our first interaction with John, and that all went down within the first, I'm guessing, half an hour to 45 minutes of sitting with John.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So he jumped right to it. He addressed it. I think he did a magnificent job of getting Guy and Alex to see, John says he embraces solutions, not the problems. And I think he helped them to realize that the blame game just wasn't working and something needed to be changed, and certainly brought them to a place where they could see that there were other ways of doing it. So he gave them the tools, just like Bar Rescue set us up with the tools to run a successful restaurant. Guy and Alex will have to continue to work with the tools that John gave them towards continuously improving. But the relationship is better than it was.
Oh, that's great to hear. Now, talking about excuses, did you see the firing of Whitney happening? Did you see that, or did that come as a shock to y'all when it happened?
I think we had some indication that it may be coming, and there is probably a higher turnover rate in the restaurant bar industry because you are dealing with young folks, and sometimes it's just a path for them. And I think they mentioned on the show, or had Whitney's voice, that she had studied to be a paramedic. Mm-hmm. So in one way, being an older person and having children that are Whitney's age, I think Helen and I both felt that it may be a bit of a tough pill to swallow for Whitney at that moment, but that it was really a much better path for her to go and pursue her paramedics.
And do you still keep in touch with her, or was that the last time you had all spoke to her?
That was the last time that I would have spoke to her.
I've liked stuff on her Facebook, so she hasn't befriended me.
Well, that's good to know.
I hear that she stays in touch with the staff, and I hear that she's been in Moonrunners. So it just hasn't been that we've seen her, but I know I have, and Helen has no ill feelings towards Whitney at all.
No, none.
And I'll give you guys a lot of credit. I mean, you guys brought in 2 new bartenders for the next day. Who kind of orchestrated that? Was it just strictly Guy, or was it all of you? And how did that come to be?
We did have a larger staff than was first initially introduced.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't too difficult to bring some other folks on.
I see.
Okay, I can see that. Oh yeah, I can definitely see that. Now, how did you like the renovations, by the way? Because I don't know if you watched last week's episode. He was none too pleased. What did you think of the way your bar looked like after all the renovations were done?
Well, here's how I'd like to answer that.
Go right ahead.
We're not actors in any stretch of the imagination, and nothing was scripted. So what you saw was genuine.
Oh, that's awesome.
Of course, sometimes things have to be, taken over, retaped or whatever. I don't even know the terminology. That goes to show you how little I know about the industry. But what you saw was very genuine, and we were not allowed. That is legit to be anywhere near the place, and we have a freestanding building on a high traffic road. And there's a hotel in close proximity, and we had to go to the hotel, and we were blindfolded and put in a van and walked from the van through the parking lot by our arms and placed looking out onto the road. And when John said turn around, that's what you saw.
Oh, and
wow. We love it. We consistently hear one that outweighs all the others. We consistently hear it's cool.
Oh, see,
from
that's
basically everybody, and that's exactly how we feel. It is really cool what they did, and the feel. And as John mentioned, instead of just painted walls with the, you know, the barn board walls, they have texture and they add a warmth, and there's a feel in there. We just had some folks come, I don't know, they traveled about 25 or 30 miles on their Harley to come and visit us this evening, and I was chatting with them, and the man said that he was concerned it would feel like a chain, or he rattled off a couple of other chain-like restaurants, and, you know, he said he walked in, he was so pleased that it was individual, and it didn't feel like a chain, it didn't feel corporate. And then I said, you know, we hear it's cool. And he was like, that's exactly what I said to my wife when we walked through the door.
Oh, that's great. I love he put his still in there, by the way.
Oh, it is so
That's
cool.
still,
That's cool.
My eyes lit up once I saw that. I was like, oh, look at that. Like shiny new things.
What about the race car? That was my favorite aspect of it. You know, how often does how does that work with you guys? Who drives it? How is that, you know, today?
Well, Helen drives it to go get the groceries, and then we'll use it for delivery.
And I look pretty good there.
I'm sure you
like
do.
Right, she complains that the helmet messes her hair up, but you know. No, it's you know, it's a local speedway, and Bar Rescue created that relationship for us, and you know, we're still working on it. So we've got a ways to go with that, but they race typically Friday nights, but the schedule has become a little less certain.
Okay.
So that's one small piece of the marketing. You know, Bar Rescue did that. I think it definitely falls under the heading of really cool.
Yeah.
And we're working on that, and we've got a bunch of other stuff that we're working on. And right now, I mean, a lot, you know, of course, all the social media and e-media and the loyalty program and that type of stuff, and you know, talking to folks on radio and doing newspaper interviews.
Cool.
Well, I mean, by the way, I want to ask you, how did you guys had a party last night, am I correct? A viewing
This is why
party?
I have no voice today, because I don't usually sound like Brenda Vaccaro. I have a deep voice, but it's not like a man, I promise.
Yeah, we did about 5 or 6 times our usual Sunday sales. It's been terrific. Sales have been up since Bar Rescue left, and now since the show aired, it's been spectacular. Today was a very, very busy Monday, and people coming from 25, 30 miles, 40. Oh, actually, I think some folks came from down by Fayetteville, which is probably close to 50 miles.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
They did. It took them an hour to get there, they said.
Now, we got someone who's going to join this phone call, by the way. Is he on?
Cool.
Hello, Chef
Hell
Brian.
yeah.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Chef Brian. How are you, Duff?
What's up, people?
How you doing? We got Helen and we got Charlie on the phone.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm absolutely wonderful. It was a fun episode last night.
Oh, yeah, it was real fun. I have no voice left.
The place was rocking, Duff. The place was rocking out. People were loving
That's
it.
great, man. I'm so glad to hear. I love watching all the posts and hearing all the stuff that you guys have going on. So I'm real happy to hear, man.
So I have a quick question for Helen and Charlie. I saw that you had this huge patio out front. Did you do anything with it? Or do you serve out there? Are you allowed to? Because I know some places you can't serve out on a patio. That's what I wanted to know. You had that great patio space.
Bar Rescue did a really cool. I mean, they set us up with genuine casks, you know, barrels, and then these really, really nice rocking chairs. We're not talking about cheesy things. We're talking about really, really nice quality rocking chairs. So beyond that, we
had a bar out there last night. We had a open bar out there with the TV blasting, and people spread out all over the patio. It was absolutely crazy.
We put a big screen, well, you know, a larger TV out there than what we normally have on a temporary basis for the show last night. And, the patio was full. They were in the parking lot playing cornhole. The whole building was packed out. It was rocking.
Nice. So Duffy, hey. So we have them on the phone and everything. Do you have any questions for them before I start asking you questions about the show?
How's my boy Josue doing?
I knew that.
Wow. Funny you say that, Duff.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, he got injured. He fell on some steps and hurt his ankle really, really bad. Like, we're talking surgery, out of commission for probably a month. That happened a week and a half ago.
Wow. How are you guys?
Has stepped up. Guy has been there. You know, he's getting there early in the morning to do prep and everything. And you know, we've got some other guys that Guy has brought in, and they're holding it down. But we need Josue back.
Yeah, he was. I loved that guy. He was so great to work with, and you know, it was so nice to have him in the kitchen for when we did, and you know, him and his buddy who was back there with him just banged it out of the park, man.
Yeah. Those guys are machines. We're so thankful for them, and of course, it really helped us when you just everything you said about them was positive. And you know, for a chef of your caliber to say these guys are rock stars, that was like, okay, this is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the cool parts about those guys and watching them work was, one, you know, Josue was very efficient. And unfortunately, you know, he was efficient even during the inefficient times. You know, there was a lot of times where there was the back and forth, the running to the walk-in, the running to the station. You know, when you're running a kitchen, you try to set a station up so that you're no more than 1 to 2 steps away. Everything should be right there. You know, in the first couple of times that I watched him, you know, even when we first got whacked that one night, you know, I mean, he was running back and forth, but still getting the food out in a good quality time. So, you know, it was good to hang out with him and watch it happen. But I love the fact that Guy's in there. That's great.
Oh my God, he stepped up. You got to see the picture on Facebook. We've channeled you. He doesn't take that cap off. He's got his chef coat. He looks. I'm like, he looks like Duffy. Oh my gosh! And it was funny because the picture that they took and it went in the paper. He's your double.
It basically looks like you, Duff.
It does. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it.
Well, that was almost 30 pounds ago, so hopefully I look more like him now than he looks like me then.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, 28 pounds down. I saw that today, by the way. Congrats.
Thank you very much. It's been a fun, long road. I've got a great trainer who literally beats the hell out of me on a daily basis.
Fantastic.
And you probably had to give up your own food.
You know, I still cook a lot for myself. My whole thing is I just eat very, very lean, and here's the best part: I eat 8 times a day.
That's what they said.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I eat 8 times a day. So I eat a lot of spicy food, and I'm just real careful of what I want. I gotta look good for this season. You kidding me? I start taping in 3 weeks. I gotta look good.
Well, we'll be watching.
You look good all the time, Duffy.
My brother, what's going on?
It's like a total party right now. I want to let everyone know.
How's it going, Helen and Charlie? Congrats.
Hey, babe. Hey, Russell.
Hey, man.
I told you, Russell, you'd be proud of Guy. He's channeling you.
Oh, yeah.
He's made an entire menu of moonshine drinks. Unbelievable. This guy is
a
rocking
couple
the
of
house.
distilleries out there. Yeah, I've been keeping in contact with him, and he's killing it. He's killing it.
Nice.
Yeah, we got really great stuff. We a little bit of the hint of that got out, but yeah, we've been talking with a local distillery, and we've got some potentially really, really cool stuff that's going to launch. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
That's awesome. I've heard about the apple pie moonshine that you guys are doing also. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, Guy did the infused apple pie, the house apple pie, and he also just this week rolled out the peach. And then he also rolled out, you know, we've been aging our own, well, not our own moonshine. Let me be careful here.
I was like, really?
You know,
my papa did
from
that.
the authorities. Everything is done through the proper authorities and the proper channels. Let me get the legal talk out here. But, yeah, I mean, he just rolled it out for the party last night. We have our own house reserve.
That's awesome. That's killer, man. That's awesome.
All right, guys.
You know what's so fun? You know what's so fun, Dorinda?
What?
And everybody out there and watching what happens after the show. You know, I've been on all the seasons, and Russell, you've been on. This is your third season or second?
This is my second I'm filming now.
Okay. You know, one of the best things to watch. You know, we have certain episodes that we absolutely love to do, and I'll tell you what, you know, being down there in Garner with these guys was probably one of my more favorite ones, and, you know, just watching everybody work together. But then when we leave, you know, we really do follow you guys, and whether it's from afar, just by through Facebook or Twitter or, you know, the occasional email or text message that we get from some of the girls that work down there. I love watching how everybody, they get so excited about stuff. You know, they get so excited about making drink menus and making specials. And, you know, I mean, Helen, if you email me one more time for that damn sauce for the po' boy, I promise, I swear to God, I'll have it to you. I swear to God.
As a matter of fact, you'll be getting an email from me tonight, probably.
Well, she's gotten some training about being pleasantly persistent, so a word of advice, Duff, just get it to her, man.
Okay, guys.
Trust me when I tell you, 22 years later, just get it to her.
So our producer...
Hey, my most memorable part of this show, this episode for us, is my freaking hair looked great.
Nice.
Spoken like a true woman.
That's pretty funny. Awesome.
So, guys, we have, guys, our producer...
Ours was, I'll tell you real quick, my favorite, and Russell, I hope maybe yours too, was when we went out on Russell's little bar tour, and one of your girls that was with us was not allowed to talk or drink. The only thing she could do at dinner was eat bread. Because she was loaded. She was loaded. Yeah, it was pretty. It was a fun evening out with the girls.
Yes, yeah, we appreciate you gentlemen entertaining our staff.
We had a great time with them. They're such a nice group of girls. So, you know, they were a really nice group of people.
Such amazing people, and fun to be around, and, you know, it's just such a great experience, even on our ends, too,
So, guys,
and we got that feeling, guys. We did, even though Helen and I were not a part of all of that. You know, we got that sense, and it was very nice to watch too. That you guys, well, Russell, of course, you're a rock star, you know, collar up and the mirror glasses and all. But you know, we got to see, you know, you guys, the guys under the persona, and how you treated everybody. And really, the whole crew. I want everybody that's listening to know the whole crew, the camera guys, the sound guys, the grips, John, everybody, the executive producers, Tim Well. These guys were really just great people. They rolled into town. They basically, you know, completely uprooted our lives, but made us like them while they were doing it.
Well, Duffy, I remember what you said to me. You said to me, I believe you said, you know, you're going to miss us when we leave, because it's going to be like you're going to feel like we're family. And I'm telling you, you guys left, and I was like, oh my God, I really miss these guys. Where's my camera guy? Where's Jeff? Where's Russell? I was like, wow.
I will say, when I was talking to Helen on the phone, one of the first things she said to me is, the moment I saw Duffy and Russell walk into the room, I knew we were saved. She was so excited. Yeah, that's exactly what she said. Now, guys, our producer actually has a question for y'all. So, Steven, what is it?
So, I'm actually from North Carolina. I live like right around where Moonrunners is now. And I was wondering, when we're talking about the bar, you got 12 taps, you got different ales. And I was wondering, because you do the Moonshine, do you have any like local draft beers? Because I know Lone Rider is really big down there, and Full Steam Brewery is really big, and that really goes along with the whole image of like the Moonrunner.
Well, being that Guy has not really slept in the last 4 months, on top of the Moonshine menu, yeah, he got into the craft beer, and we've got an entire local brews menu too, and we've got some of it on tap, some of it bottled, some of it canned, but yeah, the craft beer crowd. Yeah, we really are hoping to, and feel optimistic that we're going to be able to introduce the craft beer crowd and fans to moonshine, because we think that's a demographic that would really enjoy the moonshine drinks and cocktails.
Now, Russell.
So yeah, we got it. So now you have to stop in and visit with us.
Okay, so Helen and Charlie, can you guys do anything you want to promote or anything? Because unfortunately, I want to have a little time with the boys to myself.
Oh, really? That's fine.
Dorinda's one of my favorite people. You guys don't know. Dorinda and I have known each other for probably 3 seasons now, I guess, right?
Yeah, 3 seasons now, yes.
Yeah, Dorinda and I got drunk in L.A. together. We've had fun.
Yes.
Oh, that's a surprise. Well, Dorinda, I guess really just one thing that I want to emphasize is that it is moonshine cocktails, and it's not just, sipping White Lightning. It's very flavorful, as I mentioned earlier. And other than that, just the place is cool, and it's a great place to hang out. The food is awesome. We had this guy in that knows a little something about cooking, and he helped us out a little bit. And this other guy that knows a little something about mixing some drinks together, and he helped us out a little bit. But once we got them out of the way, we were really able to rock and roll.
Oh, fantastic.
The hindrance.
So where can people find you? They can find you on Facebook. That much I do know. Moonrunners. Do you have a Twitter handle? Anywhere else that you would like to promote Moonrunners?
Well, we are on Twitter, and I know it's kind of, Helen, do you know the Twitter? It's MNS or something.
No, I'm not.
RN. I think you can get to it through the Facebook.
Everybody, Russell and I will tweet it later on. So you can just go through any of me and Russell's Twitter feeds, and you'll be able to find it. I think it's MN Runners Saloon.
I think
and I think it's like RNRS or something.
That's a great memory. That's a great memory.
Yeah,
Brian.
something like that.
That's what we mean to
Because I haven't been drinking moonshine in 12 weeks.
Well, you know where to find it.
Well, yep, and the website, www.moonrunnersaloon.com.
Thank you guys so much. This was honestly such a pleasure, and I love that the boys were able to talk to you and to say hello to y'all. So it's
That's great. We haven't chatted with those guys in so long. So thanks, everyone.
You're welcome.
You guys take care of yourselves.
Bye, guys.
Helen and Charlie.
See you guys. Helen, I'll see you when you get up here.
Hi, boys.
What's up,
How you
lady?
doing?
How y'all doing?
Pretty good. Not too bad.
Nice. So, are you in Pennsylvania now, Brian? Are you home?
Yeah, I'm home.
And
I'm home until I leave in a week and a half.
And Russell, we got you in San Francisco right now?
Yeah, I'm actually home too. Wow, that's kind of nice.
Seriously.
Well, you started filming, am I correct, Russell?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm opening up. I just opened up a pretty huge nightclub project last week, and I'm opening up a high-end mixology bar in a couple of weeks here, and I got a couple other projects under the belt coming up in September. But and I've been in and out filming with Bar Rescue again, but not real sure what my next few weeks will look like. Just kind of sitting back and relaxing, and well, not really relaxing, definitely working, but it's nice to actually be sleeping in my own bed.
Russell, what was your take on Whitney? When working with her, in tonight's episode.
Really sweet girl. From a bartender, from a bar perspective, and I've been doing this a long time. There's just certain people that aren't cut out for it. It doesn't make them bad people. It doesn't make them. She was such a nice girl. She just wasn't fast enough, and she just wasn't going to get it. And it's understandable. Some people just, it's a different kind of pressure being behind the bar. Being a paramedic's a totally different type of pressure that I wouldn't, I could never even deal with, having someone's life in my hands. And I think it's amazing that she's able to do that and study that. But it's a different type of pressure behind the bar. And, you got people yelling at you, and you're having to remember these, drink orders and doing these things and these muscle memories across big, spans of space. And so she was a great person, but, what happened, and John definitely pulled the trigger. Got Guy to pull that trigger in the correct way, and it just had to happen,
Now, typically, what I love about, you know, in the past couple episodes is when you guys sort of play a game with the bartenders, and, you know, whether ringing a bell or putting sticky notes on them, whatever the case. You guys didn't do that tonight. Unless you guys did, and I just didn't see whatever the game was.
What did you do to get them to go? Like, was there any kind of push or?
Well, you know, the thing about that bar was that was a really long bar. That was a huge bar, and I think actually on this episode I was actually dumping drinks, but it wasn't too necessary because unfortunately Whitney was so slow that even if she messed up the drinks, there wasn't going to be a lot of drinks being dumped. There just wasn't a lot of drinks being served.
Okay.
You know,
41 drinks behind.
What's that?
41 drinks behind.
Oh,
I was dying watching it. I killed over laughing. I've never heard of that.
Pretty bad. It got worse than that, I think, too, to tell you the truth. But, you know, I can only keep track so far.
Well, for someone like me who doesn't understand the bar business, when John said that you guys were an hour behind on drinks, that to me is much more than 40, because that is like, you know, you expect the drink fast.
Yeah.
And an hour?
Yeah,
that's insane.
I mean, especially those style drinks should be able to be spit out pretty quickly. And you're looking at that last ticket, you know, the ticket that she's working on in the moment, and it's an hour behind, and you're just pretty shocked and pretty amazed by it. You know, and if you really think about it, she wasn't even done with that hour order. You know, it could have been another hour, 5 hour, 10 minutes where that person she was working on that order to even get to it.
So, I mean, I've seen Brian. Sometimes when they get so behind, he'll jump in and do something. Do you ever jump in and help, or are you not? Or is that you're not allowed to do that?
I do quite frequently, except for not during the stress test.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not during the stress test.
I get yelled at.
Yeah, that's a big.
I do.
Big point is, you know. Yeah.
I get yelled at, man. Producers are yelling at me all the time. Tappers come in and put his hand on my shoulder and pulled me out of kitchen. Yeah, I get yelled at. They hate when I go back, because I go back, it's automatic just to have it done. You know, I'm like, get out of my way, I'll do it. You know, they pull me out all the time. Then I get to go hang out with Russell and yell at bartenders.
Well, that was going to be my next question, boys. You two look like you have so much fun. Well, I know personally that you guys have fun together because I've gotten those late night phone calls from y'all. I have the best idea.
We did call you from Mystic, didn't we?
You did call me.
Yeah, Dorinda, I don't think you know that Russell and I broke into the kitchen at the hotel.
No, and Mystic?
And because we were all hungry, we went out. Russell and I went out and ended up at some random dude's house, like 6 miles outside of Mystic, and it was like deliverance, man. Russell looked at me at one point. He was like, "We got to get the hell out of here now."
No, because so now we're having our own conversation. We'll do this later.
Well, how did this friendship start? Was it purely because of Bar Rescue, or had you guys known each other prior to that?
I would like to say it's me, but no.
We had met once before, but not really hung out. And it was knowing that we both done Bar Rescue. But
that was at the Nighty Awards in San Francisco, dude. We were at the Nighty Awards.
Yeah, when you went home with those drag queens.
I don't want to know.
You're hanging out with a whole bunch of drag queens in San Francisco. Yeah.
Oh, they should have you on the show all the time together.
We had fun.
They need a spin-off of you guys.
Exactly.
One, I love what Russell does. I love his attitude. I love his down-homedness. I just made up my own word there. But you know what? It's not about being. It's not like Russell's amazing at what he does, but he doesn't have to tell you. He doesn't have to talk about how good he is when he does stuff. You know, he's a down-to-earth dude. He gets behind the bar, and people feel comfortable with him. So that's why he is as good as he is.
Well, and also like watching you work, Russell, and it's a temperament that you have to have. But you have that temperament of teaching people, and people want to learn from you, which is different than certain other experts that have been on there.
I appreciate that very much so. And you know, a big thing that I really love about, and I'm blushing right now, about Duffy, about you, Duffy, is that, it's been great. And I feel like I've had this is my first time to really be doing major television, and it's been nice to have that person who's very much able to help guide me and be there for me, understand, because he's been doing it for a lot longer, and also that he's an amazing dude in the industry too.
Yeah, I mean, Duff, you've done a lot of stuff. People don't know who you are, and you do a lot of charity work too, which is, I don't know if a lot of people know that.
I do. I'm getting ready. I'm on my Russell. Thanks, dude. We're literally man hugging over the phone just so everybody knows. But
and now if we only had John here, it'd be even better.
I know. You know what's funny is I think John looks at us and he just kind of shakes his head sometimes because we just like one of the things that everybody missed during this was we had a test that we gave to all the bartenders where the bartenders came up and had to stand in front of us, the servers, and present us with like a menu and all of that. And Russell and I were sitting there, and then they had to bring the drinks over to us, and Russell and I started drinking the drinks. So then we're into this whole process for like an hour, and Russell and I are getting a little tanked up, and they're like, and tonight we have a gin and soda, and I'm like, well, what kind of soda is it? And they're like, quit, cut production. They're like, no, what's going on? What do you mean, what kind of soda? We got a little lit up. We had fun.
It's a great, this is a really fun, amazing episode to do.
Yeah, I liked it. It had the family aspect to it, and I love those shows. And it goes back to I talk about this episode all the time because it really touched my heart, was a horse walks into a bar.
Yeah.
And and so this one kind of had a little bit of the elements of that. And it just, Russell, you seem to get those episodes, by the way.
I hate to interrupt you, Dorinda, there, but I'm going to have to for a second. And Russell, you're gonna have a lot more to say because you did that episode.
Yeah.
But that episode was about two drunks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This episode was really a lot more about the family dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
I was on Twitter last night, and I live tweet almost every episode.
You do.
And I was
you do.
getting a little pissed off at what people were saying about Alex. She's a great kid, and she worked her ass off.
And
her
she's
heart
young.
is as big as the city of Raleigh, North Carolina, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beautiful, a beautiful, beautiful person.
Well, I just think a lot of that all came from she was always so nervous around her brother and she didn't know what was going to happen next. That's the way
Nobody was giving him shit. Everybody was talking about Alex. Nobody was giving him shit for yelling at her.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
no,
he was yelling at her the whole night. I was on Twitter and Facebook, so I watched all that.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a long. They had a long history that nobody else knew about. If he were just a manager, guess what? Then he's an asshole.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. He was her brother. So then he was just a brother screaming at a sister. But they had a long history that none of us knew about. I mean, there was you guys will read a blog that I write for Nightclub and Bar that comes out tomorrow that, Alex came in at one point and she just looked around and she just needed a hug.
Yeah.
And she sat there and she cried on my shoulder for about 20 minutes. And, there were camera guys around. I'm like, you guys got to, just get out of here. There's nothing to see. And she just started telling me, she's like, nobody knows what I've been through or what I've done to my family. And, she had a really, really hard time with it. And there was even a point where she was crying on Taffer's shoulder. She was a hurting kid, but she got strong real fast, Russell. I mean, by the end of that episode, she blew up, man. She was so much damn fun.
And the confidence that had come back to her at the end of the filming and everything was just amazing. She was total 180, totally different woman.
Oh, you could just even see it in the energy that she had, even walking around that place.
Yeah.
Oh, and with Guy, her brother too. He was very, very, very passionate and yelled at her and gave her a really hard time. But, you could really tell that you don't spend that kind of energy on someone unless you really do love each other. It's just you don't know how to focus that energy.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because there's things that I say to my sisters I would never say to anybody else. But they're your sisters. You can say that to them because you just want them to straighten themselves out.
Yes, indeed. Well, unfortunately, our time is being cut. I know. It's unfortunately we should just do a Bar Rescue Network. F all these other shows.
It's been such a fun episode, by the way. I love this Bar Rescue. We had everybody call in. I feel like it was a little party with my friends.
Yes, indeed.
We still, I don't know about Russell, but I know I still every now and then get get a text, or I'll get a tweet, or I'll get a little Facebook message from one of the girls down there. So, and Helen travels a lot, so Helen's always kind of reaching out saying, "Hey, I'm going here. Where can I eat?"
So boys,
I talk to the staff quite frequently. I have that Katy Perry California Girls song stuck in my head when we were filming that, so I was like singing it underneath my breath when I thought no one could hear me, and they could all hear me, and they're making fun of me about it, but they write me every time they hear that song.
I'm going to make fun of you right now for that.
I don't know what was in me.
All I gotta say is cartwheels in the lobby, my friend. Cartwheels in the lobby.
Well, guys, is there anything, Brian? Of course, we want you to give a shout out. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to? Tell us about what you're doing next, where people can follow you, what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow me on chefbrianduffy.com. You can follow me on Twitter at chefbriduff. Facebook is Chef Brian Duffy. If you want to have some fun, go check out buystuffs.com. It's this new little burger maker that I'm having a lot of fun with. I just did a commercial for them. And then, so I start shooting Bar Rescue in a couple weeks. I head down to, I'm doing some stuff with Navy Entertainment with the mess lords. I'm going to Guam to cook for the troops. Then I'm just, I'm having fun.
Nice. Very cool. Oh, real quick, I wanted to ask you, the hats, were that from your hat people that you love so much?
No, it was not from my hat people.
Okay.
They were like a secret surprise. No, those were not from my hat people.
Okay, and Russell, tell us, what are you doing? What's happening? Where people can see you? How they can get in touch with you? Anything good? Tell us.
Just follow me on Twitter. It's at Russell_Davis, and I'm getting a lot of other stuff set up, so if you just watch me on Twitter, you'll start seeing some other stuff pop up, and please feel free to reach out. And Chef Duffy's taught me a lot about this social media stuff, so I'm definitely love getting involved and starting to pick it up a lot more. So, when I do respond back, it's definitely me.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you guys so much for calling in and doing this for us.
Oh, I love to.
We love you, Lulu Cherry.
Thank you. I'll call you both later. All right, guys. Well,
rate and comment, fans. Let us know what you guys are thinking. Let us know what you guys thought of the episode. It got a little crazy at times, but hopefully you guys took some stuff away. I think we definitely learned a lot.
Yeah.
So there's little nuggets that you can take away, and you know what? I love the spirit of which we had this episode.
Yeah,
Again, it may not have been the most cohesive, but it was definitely a lot of fun.
Yes, it was a lot of fun, and thanks again to Helen and Charlie and Russell and Chef Brian Duffy for calling in. It was a blast, and you can get me at Twitter at Lula Cherry Films.
Of course, and I gotta say, this episode in particular, I'm glad we finally see some people who wanted John's help and who appreciated it, and you just heard them on the phone with Russell and Duffy and how they even love those guys and just learned so much from them. And so that's really great, because in the past couple episodes haven't been the nicest owners.
No.
And I know fans have reacted negatively towards them, and so I'm glad to see.
Next week, we should talk about some of our YouTube comments from last week's episode.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we got some going on.
You want to talk? We got some time.
Well,
let's talk.
Somebody by the name of Wendy Rodriguez.
Okay.
Which I don't think is Wendy Rodriguez. I think it's Brandon.
Oh.
Goes away, and it goes. Once again? This is, and I see it all the time, and I hate to be that person, but I'm gonna just say it. Every time a bar goes under, it's always the bar owners or the workers that said it was staged, it was this, it was that, and if I can get to YouTube, just.
I'll try to look it up.
Along YouTube, saying that it was staged. The producers told us to do this. They told Paul to fire me, and they just kept going on and on and on. Once again, from what we saw, because they're like, it was a show, it's a reality show, so it's not real. But at the end of the day, Paul did close the place, and he is reopening up as something else, and he did gut the place out. So none of that is a lie.
Yeah.
But, and Brandon I think it's Brandon, because there wasn't a woman there at all from last week. I don't remember a woman working there.
No.
So that's the whole thing. And on top of it, they were saying, well, I was going to school during the day and then doing this at night. I understand that, but when we do a lot of that's our dog, our AfterBuzz.
That's Sparky telling us to leave. Okay, let's see. We got a lot of comments here. I gotta sift through all of them here.
Yeah, look for Wendy Rodriguez. That's the one we're looking for right now.
Okay, so attention everyone. All right, it's press statement time to answer the Bagalian text and FB messages. The show Bar Rescue was a sham. They provided nothing that they said they would or that they insinuated that they had on TV. The stress test was the biggest bullshit ever. You all know I can bartend. They yelled at everyone to be mean and scream out 5 drinks at a time because they were free. The drinks were complicated and the recipes provided an hour prior to filming. Then there's another one. It is not a realistic test. The new drinks they wanted us to make would never be made in any nightclub. They were overcomplicated and more for a restaurant-type environment. They told us all to be dramatic and bitchy for the show. They also encouraged Paul to be that way, thinking that they were going to actually remodel the bar. All they... IDI, whatever that is, was some furniture. All they did, it's a typo, okay. All they did was some furniture, carpet on the dance floor, changed a few lights, and added some fabric. The back bar was left untouched. There was no new stage like they said they would do. No new equipment. Everything we said that was wrong with the place was never touched. It was all pretty much for the cameras. Paul was told to fire me by the show 5 minutes before the reveal, expecting that I would scream and yell and create a scene. I did not. I also did not know it was coming. Next.
I know
it's
it goes
broken
on.
up.
It's broken up. But it goes on forever. But once again, I just wanted to bring that all up.
There's like 50 continuations of the same thing.
Yeah, it keeps going. But the whole thing is we got to see the greater side of Bar Rescue tonight, where they loved it. They're thriving. They're having so much fun with it. You can tell they love our experts. They love Russell. They love Duffy.
That's
so
right.
there's
Steven, do the outro.
And now, Steven, you can do it. Go. Okay.
Steven, play the outro. Steven.
And there you go.
There we go. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Again, it was a crazy episode. Don't hold it against us because in the end, for us, it was fun. We hopefully we carry these.
Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Brendan!
Yes. And I hope you enjoyed it.
And with that, we'll see you guys next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.